today we're going to show you how to break in this brand new Rex Legend 4. Let's get to it. Okay, so I'm here with Adam Drake, and we're going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about breaking in a motor. Now, the truth is, there really isn't like a lot of hard science that proves that any one way is really the best way. There are a lot of good videos, and there's a lot of different strategies that probably work really well. But today, you're going to take us through the way you've done it and the way you've created success.
Correct, yeah. There's so many different methods, and everyone likes to say this is the best method. I don't really feel that there's necessarily a best method. I mean, there's definitely right and wrong ways to do it, but this is just the method that I've used and I've had a lot of success with.
Okay, well, you heard it from Adam himself. Let's go ahead.
You heard the legend.
Explain to you what we're doing for each tank, how we're going to run the car, how we're going to break it in. We're going to tell you what to do, we're going to show you how to do it, and we're going to tell you why we're doing it. And more important than anything, we're going to tell you
don't listen to Potato Head.
You have an engine that runs good, doesn't flame out, and is easy to tune. So, let's get going.
So here's what you're going to need to get started with the break-in process. Obviously the vehicle that you plan to run the engine in, the starter box, a clean towel, tuning screwdriver, temp gun, glow igniter, an engine heater, and if you don't have an engine heater, a hair dryer or a heat gun.
What? An engine heater or hair dryer? Oh shit! The legend himself just said.
So once you remove the engine from the box, before you put it in the vehicle, there's a few things that you need to look for. First, you want to make sure you put a brand new, well-oiled air filter on. You never want to run the vehicle without an air filter.
Yes, sir.
You also want to secure and make sure that the fuel inlet nipple is aligned properly for your fuel line routing. And lastly, you want to attach the exhaust. So we've just put the engine in the car, we set the linkage, and now we're going to put the engine heater on and let the engine heat up to 180 to 200 degrees. So now that the engine's preheated to 180 degrees, we're going to go ahead and start the engine. From there, we'll want to adjust the idle and also adjust the low-speed needle to where the engine will idle consistently on its own. While the engine's idling, I like to have it just sitting on the starter box but resting at an angle. That way, any of the excess oil and fuel can run out of the pipe. You'll let the engine idle for almost the complete full tank. You'll want to keep the heater on the engine and monitor the temperature, keeping the engine between 180 and 220 degrees. You may need to plug in or unplug the heater accordingly, but you want to make sure that the engine is still very rich, but will also idle. Once you've completed the first tank, you'll stop the engine by hitting the flywheel with the back end of your tuning screwdriver, and then you'll want to make sure the piston is at bottom dead center, and you'll let the engine cool to ambient temperature. The reason why we stop the engine and then ensure that the piston is at bottom dead center is to make sure as the engine cools and the sleeve compresses that the sleeve is not compressing the piston. If the engine has the piston at top dead center, when everything cools, the engine will be basically stuck and also can cause damage to the piston.
Yes, sir.
So before starting the engine, you just want to prime the fuel line. It's simple, just plug the pipe, push down on the engine, and you'll see the fuel go from the tank to the carburetor. That's it. Now the engine's started, idling. The only thing left to do is just to take the vehicle, put it on an angle, that way the excess oil can run out of the pipe. So now that we've completed the first 4 tanks, running the engine, just idling it on the starter box, we've thrown an old set of tires on, and we're ready to do a little bit of running in the parking lot.
What? We're going to do some figure eights? I let it cool for 15 minutes, but he says 10 minutes, which is fine. Tank number 3, people. That's 7 tanks so far. Tank number 4, son. That's it.
So now you've seen us do the first 4 tanks, heat cycling the engine, idling it. The next 4 tanks where we run it slowly in a parking lot, doing figure 8s. The next and final step will be to take it to the track. And when you take it to the track, you'll want to go with the exact tune that you ended up with after the 4 tanks in the parking lot. That should be a really close, but also conservative starting point to throw it on the track and start doing laps. As you're running, you'll want to bring it in every 3-4 minutes, monitor the temperature, keeping the engine between 200 and 220 degrees. You'll continue this pretty much throughout the day over the next maybe quart to 2 quarts or half a gallon of fuel. And at some point near that half gallon mark, the engine may richen up considerably, and that's just basically that the piston is finally getting fully broken in and seated to the sleeve. At that point, you'll be able to lean out the engine and put the full race tune on it, and you should be good to go.
What? You don't put a 2-stage idle tune?
All right, before we let you go,
a race tune?
I want to address just kind of like little tips for you guys. The first thing is linkage. It's really a big deal. Setting the linkage correctly makes a huge difference in the way the engine operates and the way it's tuned. So I'm not going to tell you exactly how to set your linkage right here, but we will include links down below in the video where you can go and you can see exactly how Adam sets his linkage. And he's doing it on a Mugen car, but the overall mechanic or formula really applies to pretty much all cars. The second thing I want to talk to you about is bottom dead center. I know we've referenced it a few different times in the video, but you don't need to break out a dial indicator or anything like that if you've built race car engines or something like that in the past. Really what we're trying to tell you is make sure that the piston is down out of the compression area in the sleeve. And you'll know when this happens because the flywheel will rock back and forth really smoothly and really easily. And the last thing is starting tune. The tune on each engine is a little bit differently. As you can see in this video, Adam has driven for Nova Rossi for years and years, so he knows the motors well. All he really had to do was lean out the low-speed needle and turn the idle up a little bit, but it's really different for each engine. And so really, you might want to talk to the people where you got your engine, the hobby shop or the retailer or wherever, but really what you want to do is you want to create a situation where the engine runs consistently at a very low RPM at the right temperature in order to get those first 4 tanks going. So hope you guys enjoyed watching this video just as much as we enjoyed making it, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. I just want to say thanks again for watching my videos. I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this video, you'd be doing me a huge favor if you could either like, comment, or even better, subscribe.
There they go. Always begging. Actually, he's pretty cool. Well, that's how the Muggy Maniac has been breaking in his engines from the get-go. Am I some professional expert? No. But you just seen one. I follow it Adam Drake's way. The only thing that I do differently than he does is I do the Mr. Za heat cycle. Then I do that exact break-in every time. So you believe who you want. You follow who you want. I just go by the legend. So you guys have an awesome day. Catch you guys next video. Peace, I'm out.